Salaam. Speaking of Salaam. He's speaking of Salaam. Salaam. I'm facing Salaam. Right? So, in the Muslims, we all are Muslims. And I'm speaking to the Yemen house, the Yemen horse in Bethabara, right? So we hop out on John 1:28, right? That's what Cole was telling you in January 28th. So that's Bethabara. That's Bethabara. And so when you pray towards Bethabara, right? Because that's the peace. That's where peace is flowing to. That's where the peace is flowing down through they call it the Muddy Creek. But that muddy creek flows, right? And its major contributory is Salaam, right? And Salaam. And the second largest creek is Johannes, and it flows right through Bethabara. That's why you got Bethabara. Bethabara is the house of passage. So that's where I'm from. My house was the house of passage. And a lot of y'all have passed through the house, right? Yeah. So I'm talking to the people that gave my mama a hug. And Salaam, peace. Right. All praises to Jordan. All praises to Jordan. So I'm facing towards Bethabara. Right. Yeah. In Carolina, and shout out to Cole because he created a Carolina anthem in his last project in Old Dog, right? And I would love to sit with Cole and talk to him from a perspective of a writer, from the perspective of a father, and from the perspective of an Aquarius, right? And from the perspective of a 2-6 nigga, right? A 2-6 niggas, right? Assalamu alaikum. We 2-6 niggas. The niggas. My son a 2-6 niggas. Cause he born on the 2-6 off the 2-6. He born on the 2-6 off the I-26, and I'm born on I-26. Before the 1500s, the letter J was the letter I. So January is January. So we borrowed the I in 26 and we made the highways. You understand? So anybody that go from Charlotte to Florida know what the hell I'm talking about. I-26, right? And ironically, you got to cut off on 95 if you want to get to Miami. That's the day I arrive. So that's the highway my son born off of. Mashallah. Right? So like in these hours, on the day he was born, I was up. The night he was born. The night it was daytime in China. Shout out to Harry, man. Harry dropped 37 points right? He bought, and it's like, that's the underdog, and nobody talking about it. Stephen A. Smith not talking about it. Cam Newton not talking about it. Nobody talking about what Harry is doing. None of these sports, man, it's whack, and y'all lame. And I peeped games since he was at Duke. They never gave him a shot for real. You feel me? Like, what Tatum is doing is what Harry had the potential to do had they gave him a shot, right? So Harry is an all-around Shaq in Orlando, nigga. That's an LSU Shaq at Duke. We just talking to Salaam, man. We talking to that's the Giles Creek. You got the Giles Creek flowing right through the southern part of our territory, the Trefo, right? So that's marking the south of the Trefo. That's why Harry hopping off the south, right? We the Monakas. That's why Bethabara there to honor our Monakas. Long live Jig and Rice. That's the house of Rice. Darrell Rice. You feel what I'm saying? Darrell Balcom. That's who we doing this shit for. I don't give a fuck what nobody got to say. Daryl was 15 when he died. 15, bro. I remember I was at North Forsyth in my English class, ironically. And my friend from the second grade, Courtney Murphy, texted me and was like, you remember Daryl? She said, no, she didn't say you remember. She know I remember because we all was in kindergarten together. Right? And so, like, Daryl is the reason that I'm working in highway safety to prevent an innocent child from losing their life over the highways. Long live Lexi. You see what I'm saying? Like, so we got to take the highway safety serious. You feel me? And to be honest with you, that's why I don't drive trucks, because I know if you gonna drive and operate a truck, you can't be distracted easy. I get distracted easy as fuck. And so it's a discipline. You gotta train for that. You have to literally train outside of truck driving school. You feel me? You have to you gotta take it serious. And that's literally why I'm in the field I'm in. How is it that if you go to whenever you get a ticket, they send you to driving school or traffic school or whatever, but when you do it on your own, you don't get credit. You feel me? So, man, we talking to Salaam. That's it. And so we restoring peace in Salaam. We could talk on it because we doing it. Like, I like what the real estate guru, he say, I'm not a guru, I'm a duru because I'm really out here doing it. You know. So we just talking to Salaam, and it's like for the envy and the hate, you know, that is, you have to rid yourself of envy and hate. Because that is a disease like cancer. So when somebody has envy and hate, that's equivalent to them saying that they got cancer. But they not going to admit to it. And this is including myself. Right? So speaking for my mama never told me she had cancer, even though that was what was attacking her body. And directly attacking, right? So she didn't speak to it, but it was still there. It was something there that caused her to lose her life. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so along with that, hate and envy would do the same thing to you, right? And so therefore you have to let the people that you have hate and envy for live. This is why we fly England flag. That's why we fly England flag, because it's really principle, because if you look at the statues of William, right? Y'all call him William the Conqueror, but that man was more than just a conqueror. He was a human, right? He was the son of somebody's mother. He was the son of a mother, in other words. He was the son of his mama. You feel me? And he had principle. He established order. He should be William Ordor. Ordor William. Right? Because he established order in the house of the Lords. So if you look at the statues of William the Conqueror, say no man deserved to die. It's an eye for an eye. Right? Depending on the penalty. Some. It's all about commerce at the end of the day. It's all about commerce. You got to understand that. It's all about commerce. And in Salaam, that was one of our markets. So if you study the biblical text, it'll tell you that that's where Christ was at. That's where he was at. That's where he was flipping the chairs. That's where he was flipping the table. Christ had anger issues. He had anger issues. Nobody talk about that, though. Nobody talk about it. Everybody just like worship Christ. But then when you get angry, it's a problem, but you are a joint heir to Christ and you got the blood of Christ. So therefore, what made Christ mad also upset at you. Naturally, because you a follower of Christ. All right, right? Am I right? I'm Christ-like, right? So what upsets Christ is upsetting you, right? So you have a right to be angry. You got a right. And so now Christ came back to tell you that you have to bring order and you have to establish English channels for your anger management. Do you understand? That's why I'm saying you have to let the envy and the hate and the animosity and the speculation, because a lot of this is, and I can speak to this like in my family, and my family has been division in my family for generations. You got generational wealth and you got generational division. So you got people who's dividing amongst themselves. That's just really because of speculation. And, you just speculate. Like me, I'm a Gemini rising. So most people, when they come in contact with me, think I'm they op. Like when I walk up on somebody, they think I'm they op. And I'm like, hey, you got 75 cents, bro? We don't take Cash App. We don't have Apple Pay. We ain't got no apples. You got an apple? Then you start to laugh, And so that's how I'm a Gemini rising. That's your rising is what you appear to be. So I appear to be a Gemini. And most Geminis appear to be arrogant, right? But they really just confident because they have to communicate. And in order to communicate, a lot of times when you communicate, oftentimes than not, it's hard for people to communicate because they get interrupted. It's a lot. Again, animosity. So nobody trying to hear what you're trying to say, and you still got to communicate, and nobody trying to listen to you. They ain't trying to hear what you're trying to say. So it get frustrating because you have to realize that it's one one person gets the message, right? That's why with the sister Ray Jean, I'm gonna shout her out. She's one of the original purchasers of the alarm clock, and she told me that she goes back to it, right? She has to go back to it, and I relate to that. It's like when you need a word, when you need, it's like you got to go back to it. So she told me that same day that I went live, earlier that day, she picked up the alarm clock. Unbeknownst to me, she picked up the alarm clock and read it, went back to it, and it brought tears to her eyes. It made her cry. And that right there is the fulfillment. It's not about how many sales you can get. I remember when I first released the alarm clock, it was like, man, you need to do press, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, that didn't make, it was foreign to me because that's not why I was doing it. I was doing it for what, like, again, the fulfillment in that is to hear that. It's only one person. If only one, that's all you need. And so, therefore, when you communicate, it gets frustrating because you think, like, you need an audience. Like, no, you don't. You don't need that. You need followers. Like, people judging, they looking like, how many people follow them? You look like you in debt when you have more people that you following than you got following you. You feel me? But really, what you don't realize is that that's the people that is publicly following you. It's a lot of people who's privately following you through escaping the algorithm. You understand? And I know y'all out there, and I know that y'all are listening. I'm not oblivious to you, and I appreciate you still, right? So we talking about purity. You have to stay pure. So pureness comes from integrity. And I think that that's what, like, I retweeted if you go on my repost, it was a post about Anpu and the scales and the Ford. They had the Ford new suits, the Ford new suit bitches. I know I might be talking. I'm trying to put this in it. So this pretty much the date. And it's called, the final judgment is called the Doomsday. So on the final judgment, you go before the scales and they looking at your deeds. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're looking at your deeds. So you have to have deeds, and that's what they measuring. That's what they measuring your life on. So that's the integrity. Your integrity is done by your good deeds, and it's off. And then the claims against those deeds are also going to be reviewed. You feel what I'm saying? With facts. You know what I mean? The master of the day, the judgment. Okay. Chief judge. It's no judge. It's no judge that's above the Almighty. You understand? So at the end of the day, all of the records is going to be reviewed. So if you're going to call, like, the people, our people, they need pure leaders. They need pure leaders. You see? And, like, man, this is that you can't be brought. I'm gonna put it like this. I can't be brought. I cannot be brought. You can't be brought. Can't nobody lie you. And they tried to silence. They know. I can't be brought. I mean, when I tell you I turned down salaries, bro, and the real no, I turned when I needed it the most. You feel what I'm saying? I stepped down out of, I'm telling you, When I needed the money the most, I stepped away because I seen what was happening. The wisest thing I heard was the wisest wisdom I got was from a guy in Minnesota, and we were talking about the carrot on the stick. And you see that with public housing, with affordable housing, you gotta be careful. It's a carrot on the stick because it comes with conditions. Do you understand? They're trying their best, and you just pay attention when I'm telling you when I say it, because now you see it. They're trying their best to keep you in their corporate jurisdiction. They want whatever they can, whether it be your votes, that's why they pressing it, whether it be medical, whatever, to tie you to the state specifically. They gonna try the drivers, like anything that they can use to tie you to that, so that they can have control over you. That's slavery. That's involuntary servitude, which in North Carolina is against the law. I believe it's in Article 14, 15, 16, in the Declaration of Rights. If you read the North Carolina Constitution, you could tell that it was written by somebody who was very spiritual. And what you find is, and what I'm witnessing where I'm at on the land, is that the darker the woman, the more they're the guardians of the land, is what I'm telling you. The further you go, I'm put it like this: the further you go in the woods, the darker the complexity. And our sisters is running like, and it's like, okay, like the Lady Rams, right? I think that, again, we talking to Salaam. I'm facing Salaam. And near or far, wherever you at, take some time just to meditate towards Salaam. That's true Salaam. True Salaam. What y'all call, what y'all refer to as Winston-Salem is true Salaam. It's true Salaam. So you talk there, you know, you pray there. You know, this live is, I'm facing it, Salaam. Facing Salaam. In the wee hours, son, and my son, my I don't know, he's growing up into this reality, and to me, I'm just so grateful, man. It's like, you know, you protect your peace. This the jurisdiction of peace, right? So in that realm, the Almighty that's the highest realm. That's where it's connecting you to the highest heavens. So they say heaven on earth, because heaven is a part of the same jurisdiction. That's why they say rest in peace and salam. Rest in salam, right? Al-Jannah Faras. You know, it's all connected. This realm, there's different realms. We still connected. So for anybody that's losing family members or loved ones, you know that they have not left us. So like all of these casualties that we seeing in Philistine and throughout Persia, right, is the karmic debt on that is those people are now going into the army of the Lord, which is in the galaxy. Now they become guardians of the galaxies. And just like we have millions of cells that's working for us, we have millions of guardians. They call them guardian angels. You understand? Yeah. So I don't know who I'm talking to, but I'm talking to the city of peace, which is my city. It's the city of peace. It's true Salaam. So going back to the Lady Rams, the sisters like Baby Shaq is really running she running the guard shack. Real shit. You can't get past Baby Shaq if you ain't got the credentials. It's amazing. I'm just being honest with you is what I'm witnessing. Y'all witnessed it live yesterday. I didn't put them on camera because I respect people's privacy. Even when I'm up, like when I took y'all to that ancient tree, which is, they say it's over 1,600 years old. And it's so amazing because it's similar to with God promised Ibrahim. Descendants as numerous as the stars. So like even the branches. So like those branches is the bloodlines. And your genealogy. That's what it's the family tree. So I took you there and I don't know. Sometimes I'm just called. I was on the path straight. Got us to the path straight. We talking about Bohicket. We talking about Bohemia. All right. So the Bohicket tribes. They have limited information on them, which is why we here, son. This is why we here. That's why we here in real time. That's for the YNs. That's for the young nobles. We changed the name. It's no longer the young niggas. It's the young nobles. The young nobles. The young nobles. This is what the work is for, Mike. We talking to Mike. We talking to Sade. Anna Sade. That's Nashira. All Nashir and all Nashira. Those are my offsprings. No, Nate. So, to have descendants as numerous as the stars, it comes from being righteous. So the tree is going to keep, you cannot interrupt Mother Nature. And so therefore, Mother Nature is sending out her pollen. She pollinating. And everybody be complaining about the pollen, but I welcome it. Today, I had my window down and a hornet flew in the car, and I welcomed it. I welcomed the shit. Motherfucker came in, fell asleep, took a nap, and then when I got to where I needed to get to, I'm like, all right, you gotta go. And he was on code and left. I think it might have been a what you call it? A bad, but it was cool. And so it was on code. So the only time that they turn up is when you interrupt Mother Nature. That's what it is. That's what it is. And so that's why everybody on, like the Hawks on code, everybody on code. So if anybody try to interfere with Mother Nature, it's and see, the Earth is saying signs. They are saying warning signs. Like it'd be a sinkhole out of nowhere, just So it's FAFO. And that's why we restoring the peace. Maintain the peace. Keep the peace. Salaam. The Dar Salaam. The house of peace. You know what I'm saying? That's why we talking to Bethabara. We literally facing Bethabara. That's literally what it legitimately facing Bethabara. And the thing is, in Islam, if I'm doing the Islamic prayer, I'm facing the Qibla. So Bethabara is aligned with the Qibla. And when I was on the land of abundance with the righteous lords, and we did salat on the land, we was facing towards Bethabara in real time on the other side of the river, the river. And see, when I took my nephews and them out there, they didn't even know that the Trefo was built and assembled on the river, right in our motherfucking backyard. Niggas claiming the north and don't even know it's a big ass river going through the north. But I'm here to tell you this where John was baptized in that. Long live Jonathan, nigga. I was talking to Big Mama, man. And I was like, you the real B.I.G. because you got the story to tell, Big Mama. Like, for real. That's what I'm saying, man. And so that's what we gotta. That's where we at right now. That's the altar call. Just pray toward whatever. And that's just I'm saying all around the world. I'm talking to the people in Germany, my nigga, in Austria. I'm talking to the northern Italians. For real. They know what's up. Pray towards Bethabara. We on code. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's why not the European nations, that's why they not getting involved. Because they not like us. And so now they telling on themselves. That's why when you seen what happened with the Marine who attacked them, you seen they telling on themselves. They showing you who they is. That's what it is. I'm trying to tell you. Let them play their hand. They telling you exactly who they is. For real. Pay attention to these countries, bro. Just pay attention to their leadership. Shout out to the Prime Minister for Barbados. She's so tough. I like her. I like her leadership. And she been called for a reset. She said the whole world need a reset to restore order. Right now it's chaos. It's chaos. It's chaos. All like, you feel what I mean? They not going by the Constitution. They not even going by the Constitution. They don't even care about that shit. Like, it's like, what the fuck? The who? They don't. They don't care about that shit. I remember, and I'm gonna share this story. I had applied for a vehicle, and this was at the time when I was like really geeked about getting company cars and shit like that. So, I had applied. I'm like, the motherfucker was like, you gotta put your social down. I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. I'm like, I'm not applying to myself. I'm gonna apply with my you know what I'm saying? I'm like, nigga, I'm a business owner, nigga. We need a fleet of cars for our business. And so he's like, you gotta put yourself. I'm like, I'm not putting it. I was like, where in the Constitution do it say you gotta have this? I'm young at the time, by the way. I'm like, where in the Constitution I say I gotta put my social? He was like, he was like, this Volkswagen, we don't go by no Constitution. We have our Constitution. This is what we saying. In other words, fuck what they saying, I'm saying this. That's what, and you know what? Looking back on it, you gotta respect it. You feel what I'm saying? Because you going into you going in they territory, telling them. But at the same time, that was why the Constitution was set in place. And it says, and when I was in Frankfurt, and when I was in Frankfurt, um, they had a grave, and on this grave it said, is it we the corporations or we the people? You know what I'm saying? And so it was we the people, but now it's we the corporations. You know? Because you can get away with a lot more shit. So like when you hear, if you look up that documentary on the Ku Klux Klan and the Sisters in Chattanooga, just type in Ku Klux Klan, the Sisters in Chattanooga, it'll come up. I forget. They got a documentary on it on PBS, I think. Mind you, I've been all up in that court. I've been there. You know what I'm saying? I filed a case against the state of Tennessee in that same courthouse. And so with that case, these sisters, the KKK had shot at these sisters, and then so they filed an injunction to get the KKK removed from the operating in that region. And they won. That's holy. They got the injunctions, and the Ku Klux Klan, that chapter in that region, they was ordered to pay restitution. You feel me? But they never paid the restitution, and they didn't come after them for the restitution because it was done in a corporation. It was done and not the individual. You see what I'm saying? So they can't lock up a corporation. They can't go after a corporation. You know what I'm saying? Man, shout out Derwin. Real shit. Shout out Derwin Montgomery. Just want to let you know we rock with you, bro. We stand with you 1,000%. You know what I'm saying? Like, because again, we know how it's a tricky system out there. So again, they can't lock the Ku. You can't say the Ku Klux Klan has to go do 20 years. you feel what I'm saying? The Ku Klux Klan is not going. So that's why they hiding behind the capes. That's if you get the whole point. That's why them ICE agents is masked up. Mm-hmm. And they look just like you. You feel me? So again, there's this land is sacred, and there's peace treaties again with the bees and the hornets and the bears and the snakes. You know what I'm saying? The copperheads, I should say. Yeah, with the copperhead, not the snakes, the copperheads. You know what I mean? It's Gemini. Our moon is in Gemini right now. So that's why I'm communicating. Again, I'm a Gemini rising. And so it's all on code and it's all on cue. That's why this is brought to you by Q. Mm-hmm. Never changes. So yeah, I had an incredible birthday with my son, you know, and my family. It was really amazing. We, you know, it's again integrity. Integrity is real. And integrity is real, and that's why, like, again with that whole interview, I felt that pain when he was talking about, you know, living by that code. Like certain things you just don't do. You don't, you know, like you can't make any false claims against somebody to the point where you put in a like livelihood, they liberty, they freedom, you know, at stake. You know what I mean? Free Bill Cosby. Like, let that man, like, let people, bro, the karma if you did, if what you did, if you moving wrong, your karma gonna catch up to you. You can't, and in Goodfellas, it has that principle. When the boy was chasing the guy for his money, he owed him something he got, and the guy was ducking and running away from him, and the OG was like, "Man, let him go. That's how much it costs you to let him go." You feel what I'm saying? Don't try to go after, like, don't be no bill collector. Let them run off. That's what you call surety. You know what I'm saying? That's let them take it. It is what it is. Let them. You can have it because we got abundance. We have abundance. So that's like when God was like, don't eat from the Garden of Eden. We like it. All he was saying was like, leave that pure. Let that be pure. Let that be pure. You know what I mean? Don't eat those fruits. You know what I mean? That's all it was saying. And when you don't eat those fruits, that's going to make, because all the land is connected. So that's going to make all the other fruits everywhere else more right, because you keeping this one pure. You know what I mean? You keeping this tree right here pure, right? That means you can't get in there. You know what I mean? You can't get in there unless you got ma'at, the feathers of ma'at. So that means only the women can go up in there. The real women. You feel me? And then even when they going in there, they not even going in there to eat the fruits. They going in there to pray. They going there to pray. That's what that was all about. But Adam didn't tell Eve that. And so they were greedy. You know what I'm saying? They were greedy. And by their greed, you know, though they cut down ancient trees. So that's what it's all about, preservation. You gotta you gotta preserve, and they're doing that here. That's how you know who on code. And they preserving the land, if they have preservations, because these people are building left and right, and they going crazy, they going ham, but there's still law. Like, if anybody in real estate know that what I'm talking is real, you know what I mean? Like, you got different zones, you got different jurisdictions, like, foreign zones. That's it. And that's what we're moving on. Like, and I'm going to close with this. The people that's going to be around, it's going to be ordained. And the people, I'm put like, no, I'm not going to say that's going to be, because again, we already doing it. So the people who are around me and who take me serious are prosperous. They have land, right? They have land. They have streams of income, right? And how the book of life say thy rod and thy staff. That's what again, the my clients, specifically my clients, you're gonna have a rod, you're gonna have a staff, you're gonna have streams, you're gonna have land. Guaranteed. Like, that's what the fuck is guaranteed, for those who are obedient. Like, and the thing about it is, I'm not trying to prove no point. I ain't trying to prove no point. The point has already been proven. Now, we got the scroll. That's why y'all scrolling on. We got the scroll. stick to the script. And so for Salaam, to Salaam, to the Yemen house, the Yemen house, go to the Yemen house, take a walk. For the people that's in Bethabara, right? You gotta realize, go to the car, walk to the Yemen house. The Yemen house, right? Do your prayers there. Do salat there. The field is there. The house is hidden in plain sight. Morocco. And Happy Hill. For the people that's living in Happy Hill, walk down Salem Avenue and cut on Broad. When you walk down Salem Avenue, you turn left on Broad, coming from Happy Hill, right? And coming from the roundabout, and you walking west down Salem Avenue, and then you cut left on Broad. Then it's gonna be like a little parking lot right there that can put you on the path. Now you go walk along the path, along the creek, right? You're gonna be walking west as the follow the creek, the flow of the creek, and you walk along the flow of the creek. The flow is flowing from Salaam Lake. That's why we say Salaam Alaikum, and it's flowing into Big Dorothy. That's Big Dotty. That's the Muddy Creek, right? But right there off Broad, you cut on the trail, and then when you get on the trail, you're gonna walk, and it's gonna be a little gap where you can walk down to the creek. And then when you go there, you take your shoes off because you walking on holy ground. And we are standing on holy grounds. We are standing. Whatever. Okay. So you take your shoes off. Especially now while it's warming up, you put your feet in the water. And then you take your hands and you put your hands in the water and you let the water flow. Let that flow. You let the flow. And I promise you, they tell you to go see a therapist. They tell you need to go do mental health work, but they're not going to tell you how. They're not going to tell you, they're not going to show you how. I just told you how. Because when you do that, it's going to release whatever you're going through. It's going to release it. It's going to give you, if you're a real human, it's going to shock your body. You're going to have the chills. So that's healing you, and you're going to feel restored. I just told you. I'm getting the chills now. I'm getting the chills. So I woke up out my sleep. I was knocked out, bro. I had a full day. We celebrating Yarden. Celebrating Yardan. Right? So if you read 1 John 28, it's telling you about John and Jordan. John and Jordan. And just like that, we out. St. Papa John's.